Well, that's one of those kind of big ideas that people, are always trying to figure out whether you should focus on your own strengths or focus on kind of shoring up weaknesses. And maybe there's, some middle ground there where you shore up your weaknesses, but you still keep focusing on refining what you're good at to be the best you possible.
Well, like that, before that Asa Ten Pow fight,
Mm-hmm.
I was focused on like getting my hands better and all this.
Because his boxing's pretty
Yeah, but
solid.
then I was like, dude, I have better kicks than this guy, so like just blast his ass.
And they worked well in the fight. When you were
Yeah.
kicking and moving forward, I mean, you were landing.
Yeah, I was I was moving and I was doing a lot of things good, but then at the same time, I was stepping backwards and I let him get comfortable too much.
Sure,
And
sure.
Just hopefully, yeah. I'm really excited to fight him again.
This is the Prize Fighting Business. I'm your host, Daniel Caycedo, and today my interview guest is professional kickboxer and mixed martial artist Houssam the Moroccan Maniac El Kasri. Houssam sat down with me to have a conversation about his martial arts journey up to this point, what it's like to fight for the Glory kickboxing promotion, his goals for his mixed martial arts career, and what's next from here. So let's dive into my conversation with the Moroccan Maniac, Houssam El Kasri. All right, Houssam, thanks for joining me, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you stopping by. So you're coming off of Glory, your last fight at Glory Orlando, and you're looking for a kickboxing Muay Thai bout, mainly kickboxing probably now. But you're talking about, or before the show, you were talking about how Glory's kind of not really figured out their U.S. schedule yet, so you're probably gonna have to take another fight on the regional scene or something like that. So what do you see as next in your career for you?
I'm either planning to do the King of Sparta
Cool.
or take another boxing fight.
Okay. Because you're 1-0 in boxing currently.
Yes, and I really love boxing, and I fell in love with boxing way back, and I just really want to test myself because I feel like it's the hardest. Boxing is the hardest of all three.
It's so hard. I mean, you have only two weapons, right? Two hands, but it's so technical.
Well, like my first fight, I remember I was fighting. I wasn't. If you watch that fight, I wasn't technical.
Your boxing match.
Yeah, I was like.
I think I saw a video. You posted a video of it recently online.
Yes. I wasn't technical, but then I never felt like my shoulders and my hands and everything felt so heavy. Where I got to the point where I just throw my head to the other side and just swim. I'm like, you just gotta
flinging the punches.
Yeah. Get away. Swing.
Yeah. So you want to do that again and test yourself, kind of see where your hands are at now?
Yeah, I loved it.
But your kicks are so good.
Yeah, that's why I want to be completed.
Okay. So more just kind of round out the skill set, get that experience in the boxing ring, and
I love MMA, and they call it mixed martial arts. So
because you're also 1-0 in MMA as a pro.
Yes, sir. And so boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and I want to try judo too.
Cool. So you want to do it all? You want to be a true mixed martial artist in every aspect of the word, like even competing. And because you're a pro, I mean, so you're at the pro level. No fight is easy, no matter what discipline you're going after.
A lot of people think that I turned pro earlier, but I feel like it's the same stuff. Like, as an amateur, and there's a lot of amateurs that are about to turn pro, and there's a lot of pros that been pro for a while. And like even the amateur scenes, there's a lot of guys that are good. Like,
oh yeah,
like one of them,
world
or
class.
like one of the best of them, like my brother Nufel. Like he can beat up a lot of pro fights, and I feel like he's just taking his time. And
yeah, because he's 4-0 as an amateur in MMA specifically. Yeah. He's preparing for the King of Sparta Featherweight tournament coming up at the end of March.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
What weight do you want to fight? What weight? You mentioned King of Sparta. What weight would that be at?
Probably 145 or 135.
Oh, so you guys are the same weight class, 145 at least.
Oh yeah, me and Nufel the same weight class.
Cool. Yeah. So do you guys spar a lot together?
Yeah, we spar. It's not a friendly spar.
No. You guys go hard.
Oh, I've been fighting him my whole life, so it's
right.
good. It's like, yeah, we fight.
How much older is he than you?
A year and 9 months. So like,
Oh, okay.
me
Pretty
and him are
close.
pretty close. So
Yeah,
like,
same size, close
yeah,
to age, so you
I'm
guys
his
can throw
baby
down.
brother and he's my big brother. So like,
Cool,
yeah, I love him. He loves me too.
cool.
Shout out Nufel.
This episode is brought to you by 5280 Wealth Management and their financial coaching program. For just $249 a month, you can add your own financial coach and advisor to your team. A financial coach at 5280 Wealth Management can help you analyze your cash flow, create a budget, a savings plan, and invest your money to reach your wealth building goals. 5280 Wealth Management assists you in aligning your values with your goals and then building a plan to achieve them. So take control of your finances and your future with 5280 Wealth Management. Visit 5280wealthmanagement.com/financial coaching to learn more and use code TPFB at checkout for 10% off your first month service. Cool. So when would the King of Sparta tournament be if that's what you wanted to do next?
That will be up to Jeff.
Okay. So they don't have one on the books yet.
I think they don't have one for pro yet, but I'm hopefully waiting for June or July.
Yeah.
I think by then, after Ramadan passes and all that,
Right.
or right before
'Cause
Ramadan.
it's hard to train during Ramadan.
Yeah, it's
fasting all day.
it is hard, but like I just feel like after Ramadan is done, that's when I feel the strongest.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually clean and I eat healthy, and then
Mentally, you're a little more focused as well.
yeah, mentally I'm more focused, and then there's not a lot of distractions during Ramadan too that can throw you off.
Yeah, cool.
So
maybe June, July time frame then for your next fight. And I mean, what does a normal fight camp look like for you? Like, how long do you want before your fight to be kind of ramping it up and training hard?
I think for training for a fight camp, it will be 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay.
Yeah, and but like I'm always training, so like most of my fights that I took, it was on short notice, like a week or two. And I love taking fights on short notice because it's like it's less stress on you.
Yeah, you're not thinking about it for 6 weeks.
Yeah, when you take a fight, like on like 6 weeks or 3 months, and like you start training and like thinking about it, it's just like mentally draining too. Like I feel like I perform better when I'm just training and then coach come in and they're like, "Are you ready?" And I'll be like, "Yes." And
you fight tonight.
No, not like that, but like 2 weeks on where you just like you just clean up your technique and like study the game plan.
Right. Well, one of the perks of being in shape year round. I mean,
yeah.
You know, some people they fluctuate in weight in between fight camps, so it takes a while to get down. But the benefit, like you're saying, of staying in shape, staying in the gym year round, is that you can take those short notice fights.
Yeah, I just can't like gain weight. Like I like to stay active and all that. It's I mean, I just like to keep it going like that.
Yeah.
I mean, when I get out of shape, I don't feel good.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, it's part of that balance, you know.
Yeah.
And you were talking about before the show just kind of how, you know, the mental aspect is just as important as the physical aspect when you're fighting, and you know, being in shape helps both ends of it, but you still have to focus kind of on the mental training too, and you know that the short camps help with that, and that you're ready to go right away. But also a long camp could be beneficial too, because it lets you kind of dial in your skills and focus on what you want to accomplish in that fight.
I agree with you absolutely. I feel like that because I'm a young fighter still, like that
21,
that mental aspect is still like plays with me, especially like dealing with the like matchmakers, the fans, and like just new, like for me everything is still new, like.
Yeah. Do you manage yourself?
Yes.
So you have to balance all that. I mean, you have to talk to the promoters, you have to sell tickets to the fans, and while you're training, it's a lot.
It is a lot, and like I have some fights before where like I took the fight, scheduled it, and then I got the tickets and I just put them to the side.
Yeah, I understand that feeling.
I was like,
I understand that.
It doesn't, because I feel like it's more work and stressful than like. Because you gotta like, especially if you do it on your own, you gotta drive everywhere, and then you pick out, you have 10 tickets, you drop ticket here, and somebody tell you like, oh, I don't have the money, I'll send it to you, and then the last day before weigh-ins, you're like, oh, I'm short, and then you gotta have to come up with that with your own.
Meanwhile, you're trying to make weight and focus on this fight, but you're also thinking about these things.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, there's a lot of things that fighters do that's really like mentally draining before the
bet.
fights and all that. But yeah, it's good to have good friends and people that helps you.
Right, support network.
Yeah.
Do you have to sell tickets when you fight for glory? Are you expected to?
Uh, no, you're not expected to sell tickets, but if you're like I feel like when I fought in Denver, I sold a lot of tickets. When
Yeah.
I fight overseas or like outside of the state, I
Okay.
don't even bother.
Yeah, right. You don't
Yeah.
really know people over there anyway.
Yeah.
So you fought for glory 4 times.
Yes, sir.
You won your first 2 fights in dominant fashion. The last fight was against Asa Ten Pow, who's one of the top Americans around, and you fought in his his home territory in Glory Orlando. But again, just with the kind of up in the air aspect of Glory's promotion right now in the U.S. Right now, they're primarily focused on Europe. That's where they tend to make most of their money. They sell out the crowds there. The U.S., for whatever reason, they just don't sell as many tickets. So what does it look like when you're under contract for Glory and you want to go fight locally? What do you have to do to kind of get that okay?
You gotta first let them know 80 days before your fight.
80 days.
Which
All
is
right.
which
Almost
is
3 months.
Yeah, which is crazy because like I don't even know if I'm gonna have a fight by that time too. So
Yeah,
like
that's true.
I just gotta ask for permission before I even start looking for a fight.
Okay.
So I gotta get that on the side first, then I can start looking for a fight locally or somewhere close, Wyoming or Iowa or something.
Right. So have you started going through that motion of saying, hey, I'm gonna...
I just sent them an email this morning,
Cool.
and I should hear from their matchmaker here soon.
Did they ever say no? Like, we don't really want you fighting.
Only if they have something scheduled for you.
Gotcha. So, and that'd be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't fight for somebody else if they have something scheduled for me.
Right.
Like, I'd love to fight for Glory. It's like, it's the best kickboxing promotions in the world.
Absolutely.
It just in the USA, like, I feel like they need to build more in here.
You just don't have that much opportunity, right? I mean, if there's only a few cards a year, and they also have to get their hometown fighters on those cards in whatever city they're in. It's just not that much
I know everyone
opportunity.
say that the Europe kickboxing level is better than the USA, which is I don't really like believe it because there's a lot of guys that just don't want to fight for Glory kickboxing or just love Muay Thai. Americans love Muay Thai a lot and
MMA.
And MMA. And I love Muay Thai too, but like I feel like there's a lot they just need to like work better with the fighters.
Yeah.
And sign more Americans and all that because there's some killers out there.
Absolutely. I do feel like you're right though. I mean, it tends to be in the U.S. people go, especially East Coast. East Coast tends to have a lot of kickboxing, right? New York's pretty kickboxing oriented, Florida, but Midwest, West Coast seems to be more Muay Thai oriented for sure.
Like, I mean, the U.S. fighters like they just don't want to sign with Glory. I don't know why, but
maybe because it pins them down and they're not gonna get 4 fights a year, 6 fights a year like they could if they fight regionally.
I mean, I don't want to talk bad about the promotion or nothing, but yeah, it's kind of like once you sign a contract, you're locked in. It's like someone putting handcuffs on you, and you gotta ask for permission before. It's like it's a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, you're a pro, right? I mean, what, 6 fights now across the different disciplines as far as being a pro? So what do you, or 7 even, so what do you, like, do you consider going and doing something like an A-class tournament where you're not getting paid, but, they let you fight?
I've done it.
Oh, you do still? Cool.
I did too.
Nice. Would you do it, would you consider it now?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah? Just to stay active, keep getting fights.
Well, just for the competition, and I love doing those fight to win tournaments.
Yeah,
it's crazy how like serious people take jiu-jitsu. Like I remember like I'm walking on the mats and like everyone is like taking that tournament so serious, and I'm just like, man, this is just jiu-jitsu.
Not getting hit in the
head. But then at the same time, like jiu-jitsu is so crazy and dangerous. Where like you're not getting kicked in the head, but you might lose a leg or ankle.
ACL, MCL,
Yeah, that's why like when I compete with those guys, like when someone like if I feel like I'm in danger, I just tap. I'm not that stupid.
So for you, it's more just staying busy and staying active, getting experience across all the disciplines, and then competing when a good opportunity comes up.
I got the second place twice. I don't want to get the
Nice.
gold. So.
I hear you. I hear you.
And I like Jiu-Jitsu is fun. It's challenging because I feel like I got the aspects of like the upper body. It's for me, Jiu-Jitsu is like climbing. So when I started climbing, I always trusted the strength of my grips and like holding the rocks and like keep going
rock
up.
climbing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I didn't get the aspect where you have to tiptoe on the rock and like stand here.
Use the lower half of your body.
The lower half of your body. Like Matt had to like work with me and teach me all that. And then when you take that and look at it in the Jiu-Jitsu, it's like kind of the same thing. It's like it's like Jiu-Jitsu is like the upper body. Like I was really good at that because from the Muay Thai clinch,
right,
which is like I can control the head and all that. But then there's some sneaky stuff these guys do, which I'm really excited to learn and beat them up in their own game.
Yeah, well, John Danaher talks about it all the time, right? Why would you ignore half the body? And that's where you're seeing these leg locks and these lower body specialists really start to emerge in the jiu-jitsu world.
I was rolling with this purple belt dude, and he put me on this thing called the electric chair.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar. Isn't that one of Eddie Bravo's moves?
Yeah, and he actually trains at 10 Planet too.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And dude, like, I was, cause I'm like flexible. I'm like, he ain't gonna get me with this, and then like I just felt super weird. I'm like, dude, you better tap to this.
Jeez.
But that was cool. I want to learn how to do that. Yeah, that would be cool.
So I mean, doing jiu-jitsu and stuff, do you consider taking MMA fights still, or do you primarily want to do kickboxing and
Well, like,
striking?
the goal is just to be the most complete fighter in the world.
Love it.
Like
I love
Borka said.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares? Like, I feel like you want to learn everything that's gonna make you better in fighting. And that's what I want to do. Like, you just want to get better at everything, at every aspect of it. Jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, striking, standing up, sprawls, head movement, footwork. It's a lot of things, but I feel like you just gotta take time. And then what's hard in MMA is like mixing all that.
Oh yeah, well, it's a journey, right? I mean, all of this is a journey. You're just a martial artist trying to round out your skill set.
Or like boxing is definitely more dangerous for the head trauma and all that.
Sure.
But like when it comes to MMA fighters put a lot of work to learn a lot of stuff. Because like, I mean, I've been in the MMA fight camps, and I fought MMA too. You gotta do wrestling, jiu-jitsu, striking, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, striking,
balance.
And you gotta put strength and conditioning in that.
Right.
Yoga, meditation, recovery, and like everyone recover different and all that, and it's a lot of things.
So help me understand what a camp for you looks like then. Your last fight was a kickboxing bout at Glory, so you're currently training pound for pound fitness is mainly where you get your reps in. Yep. So what did camp look like for that fight, or what does a normal fight camp look like Monday through Friday for you, or Monday through Sunday?
Well, for kickboxing, I'll train 11 from 11 to 12:30. Sometimes we'll go after a little bit more. And Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, strength and conditioning.
Oh wow, okay. And 3 days a week?
Yeah.
Where do you do that, strength and conditioning?
Mountain Strong.
Cool.
And like, what I like about Mountain Strong is just like every time we come in, we do something different, which is like, for me, because like doing the same thing every day gets like a little bit boring.
Absolutely. Like
sometimes we might not like be in the gym, we might just go climbing outside, which like it's good. Like, it's just good to be. I love to be out there in the nature and all that. It's kind of like helps me calm down and just regroup and reflect on everything else.
Well, and keeping it different, each time you're doing strength and conditioning means that mentally you're more focused and more involved, but also your body's responding. You're putting it in these situations where it's forced to adapt and grow.
Yeah, and like there's some things like, because everyone can pick up a bar and deadlift it and all that, but like there's some things where you just gotta use your mind a little bit more to like, so it's kind of more challenging, especially when you're climbing. And then you get like, one time Matt Lloyd had me to do this like burpees, jump over the box and all that, and then he and he comes in with this like little puzzle thing, and I have to figure it out and put it on all together. And
so making you do mental workouts while you're kind of physically drained.
Yeah, and it's like the same thing in fighting, because like when you're tired, you're really tired, and you can make like we have the power to control our body and tell him to do what to do, but you gotta make the right choice to know what to do. Cause
I love that.
Because if you can't throw a right hand and you throw it just in the air, like you might get knocked out, especially if the other guy is like knowing what he's doing too.
Yeah, you gotta stay sharp mentally in the middle of a fight. Yeah, stay focused. Chris Weidman talks about that. A UFC champ talked about how he struggles sometimes to stay focused throughout the whole fight, and that's when he's lost his fights, when he kind of feels his mental acumen or his mental focus drifting away, and then something bad happens.
Yeah, and that happens to like regular people in their life too. They're just like they get mentally drained, and it's like it's hard to like stay focused on like sometimes just like doing regular stuff.
100%.
Yeah, it's like it's not that easy.
Right. So I love that. I love how that translates, for life and fighting. That do something physically draining, physically exhausting, and then make yourself do something that's also mentally draining or mentally stimulating that requires thought.
It is. Yeah, like and that's the best thing about fighting, because like I feel like fighting is the realest thing, is as real as it gets. When you get in that ring or the cage, it doesn't really matter.
It's nothing
Jiu-Jitsu maybe 50%, not that.
Sure.
Sorry, Jiu-Jitsu guys.
No, that's true. That's true.
No, Jiu-Jitsu is good, true. It's like, I mean, I feel like Jiu-Jitsu made my striking better, because like before I started doing Jiu-Jitsu, all I was doing is just like every time I fight, I'm just trying to. It doesn't really matter what time, which round. I'm always trying to finish you, and I still fight like that. But right now I'm a little bit more calm and controlling, and try to study a little bit more. But
that's what experience brings, right? I mean, that's what I struggle with the most, like being relaxed in these crazy situations. If you really think about it, I mean, you're fighting someone that you were talking again before the show that's trained just as hard as you. Maybe you trained harder, but just as hard as you to beat you. And the whole idea is that you have to stay calm under all this pressure. And
and like what's funny about this is like you might train harder than the other guy. The other guy just come in, relax, and all that.
Right.
And that night he's better than you.
And that's the difference.
And that's how you can't do nothing about it. Like it just like it's really bad. It feels.
Yeah.
I mean,
they say fatigue makes a coward out of everybody, right?
Yeah, I don't. The worst thing that a fighter can experience is a loss, I think, or like injuries and all that.
Sure. A loss and injuries, not much worse than that. So
that's as worse as it gets.
So back to your fight camp. So every day, essentially during fight camp, 11 to 12, you're doing striking, or 11, 12, 30, you're doing striking work.
Practice at night again.
Oh, really? Okay, so 2 a days. So then you practice at night.
Yeah.
What are the practices like? Is it like bag work and mitts, or are you doing partner drills and sparring?
Or just like regular practices, like drills and bag work, and then mitt work with your coach or whoever's gonna be in your corner, and then you study the game plan and all that.
Okay.
Because I feel like and that's about it. Because I mean, we just take it up notch a step from the other people, like regular people that come in and train.
Yeah.
They can do the same thing too if they just want to fight. You just gotta take it up notch where you start training twice and 3 times a day.
Right, just getting the reps in a little bit more focus, and refining the technique.
And like shout out to all the people that just come into the gym and train. Kickboxing cardio.
That's real stuff.
Or anything, because it just like it's more bodies in the gym, and it helps you like too, especially when you have someone that's experienced and like knows what he's doing. Absolutely. And you can just have good drills with him. It's like
absolutely,
that's like something that every fighter appreciates.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, it's interesting, seeing kind of the difference, like what you're talking about, between someone that's coming in and maybe they're doing it 5 days a week, but they're just in it for the recreational activity, for the workout, compared to someone that's focused on the fighting aspect. It's just a little bit of a mental switch almost in that
like,
preparation.
We train all under the same roof, so it's like,
right.
Yeah, we just take it a little bit up notch, some of the pro practices and all that, which is great.
So Monday through Friday, essentially, you're doing it 2 times a day, 11 to 12, and then in the evening, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you have strength and conditioning at Mountain
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah, and Saturday and Sundays are Saturday I don't do nothing, and Sundays active recovery.
Okay. What is recovery? What is active recovery for you?
For me, it just depends what my little brother want to do.
Yeah.
Nah, sometimes I'll just take him to Jump Street and I'll be wilding out there with him.
Cool.
And
That's like one of the trampoline gyms.
yeah,
Neat. I haven't been to one of those, but they look really
yeah.
fun.
Or I'll go hiking with the guys or something. It just depends wherever on Sunday which one of my friends is up to do something.
So some kind of physical activity that's not necessarily fighting, and
Yeah.
then kind of like a mental relaxation as well.
Yeah, I could just like go out to the mountains, walk out, maybe smoke,
Yeah.
chill, relax.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What about Monday through Friday? What do you do like when you get home from practice for recovery?
Well, I'm planning to getting back to college. And,
Oh shit. Nice.
Yeah, the problem with college is just like when I have a fight, I just drop everything else.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's
That's why like I wasn't doing good, but I need I need I need to get better at balance and stuff,
sure.
which is something that I'm working on and
Part of growing up, right?
yeah, and progress and all that.
Progress is all you can ask for.
Right, progress is all. You get E for effort.
That's right. Cool. So I mean, not much recovery there, but you're thinking about theoretically balancing that in the evening.
Yeah, and work. So,
Yeah.
like,
So rest for you, at least during the week, the core of it is going home and sleeping.
yeah, go home,
Hanging out on the
sleep,
couch.
Netflix and chill.
Yeah, I feel you. Cool. So that's a normal fight week for you. And then what weight do you walk around at?
Right now I'm at 155.
Okay. And, so you don't really have to cut that much weight. If you're going 135, you're cutting a little bit, but 145, if you fight there, it's just about 10
Yeah.
pounds.
If I go to 135, I would be really cutting. When I fight at 143,
143. Okay.
yeah, because it's I think
That's the
65 or
kickboxing weight class.
63 kilograms. Yeah, I don't really cut that much. And I hate cutting weight. I love food, man.
Oh, I hear you. So what does it look like then, the weight cut? Is it like a week long, or can you do it in one or 2 days?
Well, when I train right by the time the fight gets there, I'm already on the weight.
Nice. So you really don't have to do much. Just
Yeah.
kind of watch the food intake, watch the water intake the day before weigh-ins, and then wake up on
Yeah.
weight.
I do have some bad habits where like sometimes I just like start eating whatever I want, even if I'm in camp, and I feel like
It's tough. It's tough. I feel
well,
it.
it's tough, but like it's just for me, it's just not. Like eating vegetables and all this, they say it's gonna make you feel good and all that, but there's this thing like in your head where like it's just like when you eat something, like if I feel like if I eat, I love ice cream, man. When I eat ice cream, I'm just like happy. I'm just
man.
like mentally happy, and I'm like, I can fight. I can.
Some cookies and cream ice cream. Yeah,
dude.
I understand that.
I love food, man, and I just love food.
But you don't miss weight. You still make it happen. I mean, I hear what
Yeah.
you're saying. Like you might be loose in camp, and maybe that's the benefit of not having to cut too much weight. That you can
Yeah.
do that and not necessarily.
It's
Have
hard. It's hard like when you get older, but
Yeah.
I have a fast metabolism, and I feel it's just I do eat whatever I want.
Do you feel like at 143 pounds that these people are coming in cutting a lot of weight, or in kickboxing is it most people are fighting around the weight they walk around at?
I feel like I'm pretty big for that division, but then when I go to the MMA scene,
Right. Well, that's where you're getting all the wrestlers cutting down from
And,
170 and
like when I had this friend who's like, he's like, dude, he was like sit next to me and he's like, yeah, I fight 145 and he's huge. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, how do you make 145? He's like, yeah, just diet and wake up. I'm like, I mean, it's crazy how like some people can get. I mean, you can't judge them on nothing.
they're doing it for an hour though. It's not like
Yeah.
they're actually that weight. They're that weight for an hour for weigh-ins and then
Yeah, it's bad. Like not a lot of promotions control that, or
No, not
but
at all.
the one championship I think does.
Yeah, one championship kinda. They do the hydration testing. JD Hardwick was on here. He was saying that he felt at least it was pretty accurate as far as that's concerned. But he's in kickboxing too, where, in general, it seems like more people are fighting around the weight that they live their life at.
Yeah, I think in kickboxing it doesn't really matter, or striking.
Sure.
Because, I mean, weight does matter, but, like, they know that you don't have to cut down much.
Right.
Like, everyone, like, I think the most cut, like, 10 to 5. That's about it.
So you haven't seen much issue in kickboxing. What about boxing? Are people cutting a lot of weight for boxing?
I only have one boxing fight, and it's pro.
Yeah.
I fought in Wyoming, and yeah, I mean, I didn't cut. I fought 147.
Oh, okay.
I fought what I was walking at.
Yeah. What about the other guy?
Did
he look like he was big, or did it
he
seem
was
like
a little bit.
he was
He was a little bit bigger than me, but I didn't see. This is the problem. The heavier you get, or like the bigger, like that's your speed goes down.
Right.
So that's why, like, if you're just like, if you fight at your weight, at your walking weight, and you just cut that like 5-6 pounds the day of or something, which is not bad at all, you'll do good. Like,
ideally, you're performing close to how you perform in training, because that's what you weigh during training.
You don't want to do this crazy weight cut, like 20, 30 pounds. I saw some people cutting 20 pounds in a week, or 30,
that's
like two. But like, it just, these wrestlers are crazy, man.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know how they cut that weight.
Well, I don't think it lasts forever. You see it. Daniel Cormier's struggling and almost looking like he's dying when he's cutting weight, and having liver failure when he's in the Olympics or whatever it was. It takes its toll.
Yeah, it takes a toll on your body. Like, eventually, you're gonna start feeling that.
Oh yeah.
It's not cool to like drain your body all the time, especially if you fight a lot and you're active. That'll be bad.
Yeah. So Monday through Friday, really, you're doing 2 days. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're doing strength and conditioning. Sunday's your active recovery day, kind of just go outside, breathe fresh air. Saturday, you're just hanging out, letting the body recover. And then when do you, like, watch film at all on your opponents, especially like in Glory, where these guys have film online? Is that something you like to do, or do you generally just prepare yourself to be the best and show up?
When I'm in class or at work, I'll be watching.
In your downtime. That wouldn't work.
Or downtown.
Cool. Yeah. So you do watch a little bit of film. Is it something where you're saying, oh, I see an opening there? Or is it more just so you get a general understanding of what their skill set is?
Well, when I watch fights, I'm always looking for their strong points, and then their weakest points too. And there's some things that, like, every fighter does, or like you can see that that's his thing.
Yeah.
And you just like gotta figure that out, and then you start studying from there and working on that. You just go to your partner and tell him, can you do this? Can you do that?
So you actually have your partners try to mimic the person that you're fighting.
Yeah, but like I really don't focus on that a lot too.
Sure.
Because I feel like when you do that, that's when you lose your fight. Overthinking it, and it happened to me before. That's why I feel like if you focus more on just like the way you fight, and then you make him fight you, not fight his fight, that's when like you can do better. Like that's why, like I watch his fight, I watch it once, twice, and then I'm like, okay, no, we'll just work.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those kind of big ideas that people, are always trying to figure out, whether you should focus on your own strengths or focus on kind of shoring up weaknesses, And maybe there's, some middle ground there where you shore up your weaknesses, but you still keep focusing on refining what you're good at to be the best you possible.
Well, like that, before that Asa Ten Pow fight, I was focused on, like, getting my hands better and all this.
Because his boxing's pretty solid.
Yeah, but then I was like, dude, I have better kicks than this guy, so like just blast his ass.
And they worked well in the fight. When you were kicking and moving forward, I mean, you were landing.
Yeah, I was moving and I was doing a lot of things good, but then at the same time, I was stepping backwards and I let him get comfortable too much.
Sure.
Just hopefully, I'm really excited to fight him again. Like we'll see. Just depends how this glory promotion.
Yeah, right. See what
this
happens in the
glory
U.S.
thing they're gonna happen.
So that brings up a good point. I mean, you do all this prep work for your fight camps, but how are you getting these fights originally? Like, how did you get into glory? How do you find your fights?
It was funny. I was like, so I was running at night, right? And then I just got done, and then the messenger thing pops up, and I look it up, and he's like, it was Stephen Wright, their matchmaker. He texts me, he's like, you want to fight in 2 weeks?
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, yes.
You just ran, you feel good, feel your cardio is
yeah,
there.
or like, I knew that there were glory fights coming in there, and then he's like, we just had someone fell off and we need it.
Huh.
And I was like, absolutely, I'll do
So
it.
short notice replacement fight, essentially,
Yeah.
and that's your opportunity to get into the biggest promotion in the world as far as
And
kickboxing.
Because I get this thing where like sometimes I just wake, like, it doesn't really matter what time of the night, or I could just wake up, and then you can, when you like wake up in the middle of the night, you either choose to like sit down and stress about why you're not sleeping, or do actually something. I just like to go outside, go for a run.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing. And when he texted me, I was like, yeah. And I told my coaches 2 weeks, and I was like, yeah, I'm in shape, I'm ready, let's do it.
How many kickboxing fights had you had before then, or was that your first one?
No.
Pro, I guess.
Oh, pro. That was my first kickboxing.
So you made your
Came
pro
out.
kickboxing debut in glory.
Yeah.
Damn. Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, and before that, I fought pro Muay Thai with Dan Wilson.
Okay.
That was a fun fight. I
Yeah,
loved
he's
that
one of my
fight.
coaches.
Yeah, that was a fun fight. I had a lot of fun in that fight.
So who was the Muay Thai bout for? What promotion was that for?
Sparta.
Sparta. Okay.
Yeah, me and Dan were the main event,
Cool.
and I love it because like we really got everyone on that hype.
Yeah.
On the hype bus, and we were talking shit, and everyone bought that shit, and I was like, fuck yeah.
Neat.
And we had a good fight.
So you came out of that and you decided that you wanted to do kickboxing, or this opportunity just came up with glory.
Okay, so after that fight, I just went back to training, and then I don't remember like how long before after that, and they offered it, and I was like, yeah, I've been training anyways. No, after that Dan Wilson fight, I did the 2 MMA fights.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Well, one was amateur for King of the Cage, and I won it. That was my first time fighting MMA, and like,
Damn.
I wasn't even, or in my head I was just like, dude, it's just a fight. This
Yeah.
is just a fight.
Had you been training jiu-jitsu or anything, grappling up to that
Yes.
point? Okay.
I've been training with Anthony Adams and
Yeah.
Thomas Denny and Matt Sims.
Nice.
Actually works with me a lot on my ground game.
Yeah.
Well, thank God we didn't have to use it. And yeah, I got 30-second knockout
Oh, wow.
on the King of the Cage, and it was just great, man. I loved it, and I was like,
It's a big amateur promotion too, or pro promotion too, a big
Yeah.
regional promotion.
and then after that, I took a pro fight again against Rowdy Akers down in Wyoming, and that I had to use my jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. But it
Yeah.
worked out. You won.
It worked out, yeah, dude. Like, it was good. Like, I love MMA the way like where you just, it feels just like a street fight. I mean,
Mhm.
not a street fight, but like basically you're like
As
standing.
close as it gets.
Yeah, it's just as close as it gets. Like, you're in the cage, and this guy basically, the ref is just watching, waiting for you to like beat him up bad, and he's gonna try to stop you, and you just yeah, just like 2 dogs in there, like 2 pit bulls, and you just let them go.
Yeah.
It feels good.
I believe it. So then take me back, help me understand kind of your journey, how you got to this point, how you got to that point. So you've mentioned before the show you're from Morocco originally.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you start martial arts in general? When did you start this journey, like
So
any martial art?
So me and my brother started martial arts at 5.
5 years old
5 years old, yes.
in Morocco.
In Morocco, Taekwondo at the Club Royal. And yeah, it was, my mom just put us there for basically self-defense and
Yeah.
bullying and all that.
Keep you busy.
Yeah, and Taekwondo was like, when here in USA, when someone tell you he's a black belt in Taekwondo, you're just like, ah.
Sure. It
Yeah.
means you can kick.
Yeah, but like soon, like, yeah, he can kick and all that, but they don't take it seriously. Like,
Yeah.
but like, I really like, for me, Taekwondo was like, I loved it, and I don't think I would have been this good in fighting if I didn't do Taekwondo, because it teaches you a lot of things.
Well, it teaches you a lot of things at a young age too. You know, you're
Yeah.
developing as a human. You know, while learning these skills and these ideas that translate well to life. You know, discipline.
Yeah, and the other things
honor.
that I like about Taekwondo is just like it taught us the discipline and a lot of the things, and it actually helped me a lot outside of my life and just how to defend myself against
Yeah.
bullies and all that. Cause
Absolutely.
I never was this big or tall, but I was always the shortest kid in
Sure.
class, which is I mean, it wasn't a bad thing, but like I wasn't like the guy that get bullied by anyone, but I was getting bullied, so
Yeah.
it was good. It helped me a lot.
Right, I believe it. I believe it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's one of the benefits, and not only that, but you know, your style right now is very finesse oriented, very kick oriented, and that's something that your body again develops. So not only are you developing as a person, as a human, mentally, and with your character, but you're developing physically. You know, around being able to kick people in the head, which is something not everyone can do.
Yeah, and all that flexibility from my
Right.
kicks and all that, I really can translate it to a lot of good stuff in the ground in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you think so? Cool.
Yeah. Oh, like I don't think I really did.
You know it. You know it. Yeah.
I did it because like, or like, I mean, flexibility is a big part of jiu-jitsu. If when you have someone that's always stiff, he can't get out of. Like you saw
Yeah.
Cody Sandhagen, how he got out of that
Yeah.
armbar. I mean,
With against Yuri Alcantara.
that was a little bit
Ooh,
freaky,
that
but
was scary. That was beautiful.
Yeah,
Great work
no,
on his end, but it was a little scary.
dude,
And he got his nose smashed for the trouble.
yeah, but like to get out of armbar like that was
Yeah, he's a high level athlete. He's very skilled.
dude, that was crazy.
It was.
And yeah, this one that Bruce Lee thing, you gotta be water and all that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm trying to get at that level.
Cool. So you started 5 years old. You started Taekwondo with your brother in Morocco. How does that progress? Did you stick with it?
Yes. Oh, like I told you before, we took 2 years off and then we came back and.
But you got your black belt first,
Yeah.
right? So you get your black belt. How old were you when you got your black belt in Taekwondo?
I think 15 or 14.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact date, but after that, I just got bored of kicking. Like I remember we'd come in to Taekwondo class, and there's all these guys like on the other side doing Muay Thai.
At the same gym.
At the same gym, yeah.
Huh.
And they'll like be training for fights. And dude, like they be blasting the pads and everything, and we'd be sitting out there. We'd be doing some pretty serious stuff too, but not as dangerous as they look on the other side. And I'm
It
like,
looks cool.
yeah, it looks cool. And I was like, dude, man, fuck all this, man. I'm tired. I want to use my hands. So I wanted to box, but my mom didn't let me to.
Okay.
And
What made you attracted to boxing? What got you attracted to boxing?
it was Rocky IV.
Rocky IV, the movie. Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
the movie. And I always want to go, and I actually went to this boxing gym close to I took the bus and I went up there, and then it was like really hood and all that, and my mom was like, hell no, I ain't letting you train here. And I was like,
So your mom vetoes boxing.
yeah, she never approved, like she never liked boxing or fighting. She never expected us to do anything like this crazy.
Sure.
She was just like putting us like just to get better at like defending ourselves, and then we can.
But she
balance.
planted the seed. You
Yeah.
fell in love.
I'm like, oh dude, like I don't think anyone can stop me now from doing what I love.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, fighting I love it.
So you did Taekwondo, you get your black belt, 14, 15 years old, and then you and your brother take 2 years off, just kind of live your life as teenagers at that point. What kind of brings you back to it?
I remember we were sitting all, me, Nufo, and my little brother Elias too, and my mom, and we were like, you know how when you watch like an action movie and all your brothers stand up and they start fighting each other and
Yeah.
stuff. And then I'm like, yeah, we gotta get back to training, man. And they're like, yeah. And then we decided to go back, and I was like, well, I'm not going back for Taekwondo, that's for sure. So I started doing Muay Thai,
Hmm.
and Nufel kept doing Taekwondo for a little bit. And
But
then,
at the same gym. So this is the one where you
yeah,
saw Muay Thai across the gym. You
yeah,
decided you're going to go on that side of it this time.
yeah. And
Cool.
like, I started doing Muay Thai, and then after that, I took a fight, and I did this tournament, and I loved it. I won the first fight and lost the second one.
And this is still in Morocco?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I lost the second one. I was like I said before, I'm a sore loser. Got pissed off, and then I went back to training again. And then Nufel started doing Muay Thai too, and then we just started competing together.
Cool. So did you fight more in Morocco? Any more times?
Yeah, for the amateur scene, with Taekwondo, smokers, and all the full contact, light contact, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and I even did savate.
Nice. Yeah, French kickboxing.
Yeah, that French kick was where you put it's like kind of boxing shoes, but
Okay.
and you gotta kick with the tiptoe.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's like karate, and every time you get a point, they stop and they give the other guy a point.
It's like full contact
Yeah.
karate.
Yeah, full contact karate. I didn't like that at all.
Well, it's a lot of just being good at bursting, essentially, like closing distance quickly, scoring, and
it was just like exploding, pop,
Right,
get back,
right.
like some Bruce Lee stuff.
yeah, that's the base of what I learned originally. American kickboxing came from that kind of karate
Yeah.
base, all above the waist type stuff.
Yeah, I love the full contacts. Like that
Mhm.
was great. I like watching that, and I like doing that too, because like you don't get kicked in your legs, so
Right.
like you don't have to recover from a kick or nothing. So
Yeah.
you're up there, you kick him from the upper belt to the head, and it was fun.
Yeah. So you guys are generally competing kind of in tournament styles. Is that the way it works when you're in Morocco? That you're training Muay Thai, but you're entering these full contact tournaments?
Yeah. So there were tournaments I think every year there were there were a bunch of tournaments, and they were scheduled where like Muay Thai from I think 14 to 16 years old kids, and then there's that 16 to 18,
Okay.
and then the adults after that.
Nice.
And there's like Muay Thai, full contact, light contact, and forgot what's the other Sava. Yeah, I think there were 4 or something, and there were a bunch of tournaments around the year, like the Moroccan championships and then the regional championships, and they were hard because like you
It's
have
big there, right? Kickboxing's huge in Morocco.
do like I think after soccer it comes Muay Thai and
Yeah.
kickboxing.
Yeah.
I mean, I never liked soccer because I
Not enough contact for you.
no, I wasn't good at soccer.
Sure.
But yeah, it was good because Muay Thai is big there. Like, so the tournament will be like you'll get drafted randomly. Everyone comes in, do the weigh-in, and it's a tournament. Like you fight Saturday and Sunday, so you might fight Saturday twice or 3 times, and then Sunday you fight for the semifinal and final.
Gotcha. So two-day tournament essentially.
Yeah, 2-day tournament, and it's like 3 or it just depends on your luck how many people in there or how many people got injured during the tournament or all
It's
that.
great for experience, being able to fight multiple times.
Yeah, it's good. Like I like the King of Sparta thing because
3 times in one night.
yeah, 3 times in one night, it's good.
It's a real deal. It's a lot.
I think I mean, when you look at it, Glory put on tournaments and all this, but like, that is actually like a great tournament. Like
Yeah,
you
it
box,
is.
you kickbox, and you gotta go through all of them.
True. It shows a true mixed martial artist coming out at
Exactly,
the
yeah.
end. Absolutely. So you get a lot of amateur experience while you're in Morocco. When
Mhm.
did you actually move to the U.S.?
In 2016 April.
Oh, so just 4 years ago.
Yes.
That's pretty recently.
yeah.
Nice. So where did you move when you moved here?
Straight to Colorado.
Okay.
Because we had family here and all that, and
Nice.
so I went to high school at Cherry Creek.
Cool.
And yeah, that's about it. And like I remember went in and started training.
You started training right away when you moved here?
We started looking for a gym and then started training. And then after that, I was like, dude, I want to fight. Like, and then I remember we watched Gerald Scott fought.
Gerald Scott?
Yeah.
I think he's with Genesis right now, right? He's got a fight coming up.
Yes.
Sean Date.
Yeah, him and Shanda. I know. Actually, I know all these guys that fight. It's like every time I come into the fights, I know both.
It's a small world when
yeah,
you're when you're in it.
Yeah. So yeah, I watched Joe Scott fight, and like it was I think at the Broomfield venue or something.
First Bank Center up here.
No, the Budweiser Center.
Gotcha, Budweiser Rent Center.
Yeah, and it was big and it was fun. I loved it. I was like, damn, dude. And they were doing MMA, so I wasn't really like. Back then, I didn't know nothing about MMA.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, and Nufel like he's like, yeah, dude, this is good, huh? I'm like, yeah. So I was like, yeah, we'll fight. I wanted to do kickboxing.
Mm-hmm.
And
what gym were you training at?
So I started training at high altitude.
Yeah, high altitude martial arts. High altitude martial arts.
Yeah, and then because you bring a young kid from Morocco to a new gym, and like, for me, it wasn't like I was trying to hurt someone or anything,
Sure.
but like it was just the way we sparred back home. Like
it was a little bit harder.
It was a little bit hard sparring, but then I remember like when we started sparring at high altitude, I remember when me and Nufel spar, everyone would like sit down and start looking at us all weird, and then
so the intensity was a little bit higher then.
Yeah, we were just like sparring a little bit intense, and I remember like sparring with this guy. Like, dude, I was 16 and
testosterone flowing.
I was 16
yourself.
and I remember like this guy come to me and he's like, let's spar hard. I was like,
oh wow.
I was like, he was like bigger than me and he was stronger, and like I was like, dude, yeah, we're gonna spar hard. Let's just start sparring hard. And I end up getting kicked out, which is not bad. And
it's learning experience.
And then I went to train with Vern Airwood. He's a Marine. Child's Play MMA.
Okay, cool.
They had a pretty crazy squad there, like a bunch of like, military guys that just want to lose weight, and guys that actually have fights lined up. And I was like, dude, I want to fight too. And they were like, yeah, we'll get you a fight. And and then they were like, you can't even fight because
you're not old enough.
You're not old enough.
Huh.
Well, yeah, you got for Sparta. The first tournament we did here was with high altitude for Oscar Martinez. I lost it.
Yeah, the kind of out of house smoker where they've got all the
Colorado,
local gyms getting together.
the Colorado Muay Thai thing.
Yeah. Neat.
I did that, and I lost my first fight, I remember, and I was like, damn. I fought this guy who's like a little bit heavier than me, and then Nufel fought, got the gold medal. That was great. And after that, that's when I fought for Sparta at the Denver Coliseum.
Whoa, so you jumped from amateur to pro just like that?
No.
Oh, okay. You fought Sparta amateur a couple times too?
Yeah, I fought 3 times. I fought Miguel Garcia at the Denver Coliseum.
Nice, he just won King of Sparta last night.
Yeah. Who?
Miguel Perez.
Oh, Miguel Perez, yeah. No, Garcia.
Gotcha, Miguel Garcia.
Then I fought Paul Lucero at 145 for the belt, and then I fought Sean Armijo for kickdown, the 130, I think it was 135, and after that I went fight in Texas, and it was for a belt too, and I lost to, I forgot his name. This guy was from Tunisia It was from Tunis. Tunisia. And after that, nobody wanted to fight me, and I fought Dan Wilson.
Huh, so you fought 4 times amateur in the U.S., but you also had your Morocco fights too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've had a fair amount of amateur experience before going pro. You mentioned that you feel like people said you kind of went pro fast, but...
Well, just because of my age, but I had enough experience.
I see. So as far as age is concerned, you might have gone pro, but yeah, you had the experience. Nice.
Yeah, like I felt ready, and then I was like, yeah. And then even on the local scene, after like everyone was looking for MMA fights. And then once I turned pro, I didn't know this thing that once you turn pro in kickboxing or Muay Thai, you turn pro in MMA,
right,
and everything else. And that's kind of like stupid, but
it's it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense-ish, but then I was like,
I had the opposite. I went from MMA to Muay Thai, and I felt like my MMA experience is mainly grappling and wrestling, and I felt like it wasn't fair that I had to go fight Muay Thai
Yeah.
guys that have straight Muay Thai
I
experience and
think it
Muay
will
Thai
be
fights.
harder to go from MMA to Muay Thai. Yeah.
It was hard. It was definitely difficult, and especially because I came from American kickboxing when I was doing MMA. So getting Sean Madden's my coach now, but when I first moved here, I just remember getting my front leg worked over from him in sparring like a week before I had a smoker, just because that's the way it was. I wasn't used
Yeah.
to checking low kicks, and still something I'm working on. But
There's always something to work on.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what's good about fighting. They're like, you can never reach that bar of, like, perfect. Like
No.
like runners, you have records you can break, right?
Right.
It's same thing with everything else, but like fighting, there's not like there always gonna be somebody somewhere
Yeah.
coming to beat you up, and you
Yeah.
gotta be training and getting ready for that.
Absolutely. And they might just have that style that matches up well against you and beats
Yeah, and
you.
that's what makes fighting better. It's like everyone comes from all around the world, like everyone have his weird style or
And
something.
your own life experience.
Yeah, and their life experiences, and everyone is fighting for something.
Yep.
You don't know what people fighting for. You might be fighting for ice cream, your
Right.
family. I don't know, but
It's very true.
everyone have good reasons to fight, and that's what makes you go through all those emotions before you walk in that ring or the cage, because you get to experience all those emotions, and then after that you just get that relief. I mean, win or loss, you get that relief after, but then yeah, you just don't walk the same. After you walk in the ring, you don't walk out of it the same person. You
No.
either walk more humble, more cocky, or something, but
It's very true.
eventually it's gonna get you.
It's very true. You're never the same person when you walk out of
No.
there. That's a great
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
how did you get your pro opportunities? So you took those amateur fights. No one really wanted to fight you as a kickboxer amateur, which is something I hear a lot. I mean, as far as the struggle to get fights as an amateur and being one reason to go pro. So you decided to go pro, but did Sparta approach you and say, hey, we need a pro fighter for this matchup?
I was with the coach Vern.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, yeah, I can, because he was the one that helps me find fights too.
Yeah.
My coaches, obviously, and he I remember like he just put Dan Wilson fight, and it was I think in Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't even tell me that he was pro. He's like, watch this fight, and I was like, okay. He's like, you think you can fight him? I was like, yes.
Cool.
And I was like, and he's like, it's a pro fight, and I was like, sure. And that's it.
That was the decision to go pro. He was like, watch this guy fight. You were like, all right, I'll take that fight. And he's like, by the way, it's pro. I said,
Yeah.
Cool, let's do it.
And well, because like the amateur scene, like nobody wanted to fight me, and then nobody paid for amateurs to drive outside the state to go
Right.
somewhere or not. Nobody cares. Like,
Yeah.
like if you want to fight, you gotta drive and do everything
Yep.
by your own. And I was like, yeah, I'll go pro. And then I always liked fighting. I'll fight like. We always fought for free, so like I was like, dude, I can do this and like even make a living out of it.
Get
God
paid.
damn.
Yeah.
I was like, shit.
Yeah.
It's about to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
And
So-
it is.
And so that kind of started your pro career. You took that fight, didn't go your way, but then after that, you ended up winning your first 2 glory matches.
Yeah.
Or
That
you
fight.
fought MMA, I guess. So you had those 2 MMA fights in between, and then you take
Yeah.
the next 2 glory.
I did one amateur, and then I did the 2 kickboxing fight, and then after that I did the pro MMA fight.
Do you remember your goal when you first started doing martial arts? Like, do you remember when you decided you wanted to become a fighter?
Oh, I remember. So my dad, the day I wanted to be a fighter, my dad took us to this. It was Mustafa Houssam. I don't know if you ever watched his fight, but this guy was like really. He's 12 times world champion,
Okay.
and he fought in the Netherlands a lot. He moved from Morocco and fought in the Netherlands, and I'll show you some of his highlights after this. And like I remember, like we were sitting there and like we were watching his fight, and he's fighting this big dude, bro, and like he was scared. And I'm like, I looked at my dad, and I'm like, dude, you think he can win? And he's like, yeah, just watch. And then dude, he made that guy look like a joke. He was like flying over him, like
Oh, wow.
with like all his like spinning kicks and all those like heat show kicks, high kicks and all that. And then it wasn't a knockout, but like I was like, damn. And I was like, yeah, dude, like I want to fight.
Cool. How old were you think?
uh, Probably 12 or 11, and it was uh Caycedo. It wasn't like in Rabat. And it was like it was big. Everyone was wilding out, and I was like, dude, it was just great feeling.
Oh, it's a crazy environment, live fights, you know?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, like when I go to the fights, I love that energy because like when
Yes.
you watch fights live, it's not like when you watch fights on TV. There's
Yeah.
nothing. It's not the same thing. When you do like, there's nothing better. There's nothing better like watching fights live. It's like you can feel the energy. You can feel like the other guy
You
crowd.
can feel their emotions.
Yeah,
you know?
too. Like the crowd yelling and everything. Like, and if it makes like it's kind of like motivating too.
Absolutely.
Like it makes you want to fight and all that. It's great. I just love watching fights live, and
Yeah.
like just walking out behind someone on that ring and like experiencing that, even if you're not fighting. Like,
Yeah.
dude, like I walked out with I walked out with a lot of fighters, and like everyone was laughing at me and shit because I would walk with every team. I didn't care, and I was like,
You just enjoyed it. You enjoyed the feeling.
like in my head, I'm like, you guys don't even know. I'm like, I'm having the best time of my life
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And dude, it's great because like we just walk that straight line, dude. It's like, it's like when you like start flipping that switch, it's just great, man.
Yeah, I do know.
And then you get to walk out it and not fight. That's good.
Yeah, right. So
It's good.
So you, I mean, the glory you went 2-2 in glory. That's kind of where you are right now,
Yeah.
figuring it out from there. But that day, I mean, with your dad, is when you realized you wanted to be a fighter, and that was kickboxing specifically. So that kind of led you on this path towards kickboxing and
Yeah.
eventually glory, where you are now.
Yeah, that was like even when I was a kid, like I always liked fighting, and like when you get bullied a lot as a kid or something, you just like, and I was never that type of kid like that'll like walk away or something. I
Sure.
always fought like
Stand up for yourself.
Yeah, I was like you come in, whatever you're gonna come with, I'm gonna be throwing the last punch.
I like it. It's a good attitude to have for a fighter.
Yeah, and I feel like it helped and shaped the type of fighter I am.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I'm not. There's always some things that you can't perfect and all this, and
But you're still young.
and one of them is like kind of like controlling my emotions and all
Sure.
that, because that kind of plays me sometimes, or like I play myself, but it's just what it is. It's work in progress.
That's right. And you're still 21. So, I mean, you're
Yeah.
still growing. You're evolving as a fighter, as a martial artist, as a person, as a man. So,
Yeah.
11, 12 years old, you kind of pinpoint that this is what you want to do. It's 10 years later now. You're doing it. You're living that life. You're living the pro fighting lifestyle. So, what do you picture as next? What do you want? Is the goal kind of here for your career?
Well, the goal for my career right now, so like this is where like I kind of like, so right now, see, I kind of feel like I achieved everything that I wanted as a kid.
Getting to glory, kickboxing, fighting
Yeah.
on the biggest stage. I mean, it's pretty cool to do that by 21.
Yeah, I feel like I achieved everything that I wanted, but then now I'm just setting new goals, and like they're
Mhm.
way bigger than my goals as a kid.
Well, that's why I think it's so interesting, kind of seeing the contrast, and I think it's that way with most people I talk to. You know, the goal day one maybe was become a pro fighter, get to the UFC or whatever this top organization is, Glory Kickboxing. But then once you're there, you realize, oh, this was attainable.
Yeah.
I imagined it in my head, I achieved it. Now what?
Yeah, exactly. Like when like you're so excited to get something, then when you get it, you're like,
Oh, this is
gosh.
it.
That's it. And that's why a lot of like people tell you like you gotta enjoy the journey and all that.
Right.
Yeah, well, like I was really having fun like doing this. Like I always loved the journey. Like just like, just being like, I was like the youngest guy in the team all the time
Right.
on like the fight camp. Like, and like we're all getting in the van and like everyone is fighting. Like that was for me. Like that was crazy. Like
Yeah.
I loved it. Like
Being a part of the team, being with the boys and hanging out.
yeah, like just being with like a bunch of like, I feel like those guys like shaped me too. Like
Yeah.
I was looking up to a lot of guys that I trained with. Like I mean, everyone looked up
Absolutely.
to Bruce Lee
Sure.
and like they're top fighters. But then, like like I'm always trying to get inspired from someone or
Yeah.
somewhere, because like if you don't get inspired, there's like really nothing to do in life. like
Absolutely.
like if you don't like you walk around the street and you see something, you're just like, yeah, that's great, and then like you either like do something about it, you want to make it better or something. I don't know.
I agree. I mean, you almost have to create your own purpose, you know? Like, you
Yeah,
have to kind of say, okay, this is the direction I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go hard on it, and this is the goal that I'm working towards, and maybe that goal evolves over time. Maybe you get to a certain point, and you're like, hey, it's
I
not quite what I thought.
I was always great at I was always great at uh paying my way, like just like setting up a goal and setting it like I'll always picture how I'm gonna do it
Yeah,
and then how I'm gonna get to it. And obviously there's a lot of things that will stop you and all that, but like it does.
that can stop you.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that'll try to stop you and all
Right.
that, but like it doesn't really matter. Like especially if you just stay determined, like focus and like you just like you just set that goal up, you pray for it, then you go for it. You go like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go get it, and there's nothing that's gonna stop me.
right.
And that's about it. Like everything else is just like there's a lot of distractions gonna try to pull you off out of that, but you just gotta like, yeah, you just gotta go get it. That's
Yeah.
about it.
Well, and, overcoming that is part of the journey too.
Yeah.
Overcoming those obstacles that come up and get in the way of what you want to achieve. So right now you're kind of figuring out what that next step is going to be, or do you have a goal? Have you figured out what your next goal is yet?
Yeah, being a world champion.
Being a world champion in
Yeah.
kickboxing, or
I want to get that. I feel like in kickboxing, if I ever want to get that glory belt, it's gonna pull me way off the MMA scene and
Sure.
direction, especially the way Glory to deal with their contracts and all that.
right?
I mean, Chris Camozzi fought in UFC, and then he went stops and he went did
Yeah.
kickboxing. So I might just go fight and I might just go do UFC, and then once I get that belt, I'll be like, yeah.
Okay. So
Fuck.
so you wanna test yourself as a true mixed martial artist? Do you want to go start trying to get that
Yeah.
MMA world championship?
And then once you get that belt, you can obviously claim that glory belt too.
Yeah, go get it.
I
Cool.
mean, the champ Petch is he's still a young guy.
Dude, he's a monster. Oh my goodness. He just beat Adam Chuck yesterday, right?
Yeah,
Day before yesterday.
he's a great dude. He's a great athlete, and he have a lot of experience. 200 something fights.
Yep.
That's a lot of fights, but if Connor did it, anyone can do it.
Right. So your goal right now is just to kind of keep building the experience then.
Yeah, just
Different martial
build-
arts.
keep building the experience, and then yeah, I will get it.
Build that path to become a world champion.
That UFC belt will
Cool.
be mine one
Cool.
day. I mean, I don't know when, but I just know that will be mine one day.
Yeah, and you've been on this journey for 10 years since you decided you want to become a fighter, but I mean,
Yeah.
really, 16 years since you started Taekwondo?
No, like sometimes it gets mentally draining, like where you start
course.
thinking about like, oh, I sacrificed this and all that. But then like when you look at it, you're like, dude, you didn't sacrifice nothing. You just, like the whole time I was having fun because
Right.
I mean, sometimes it just get mentally draining because you're always inside the gym training. That's when you gotta get out and like
Yeah.
get some fresh air, or like get outside in the nature and all that.
Well, that's why I like your cross training, the idea of
Yeah.
doing the climbing and the hiking on Sundays, active recovery.
And just changing the scene. Like I like to, I just like to train at different places. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because like at the end it's all training.
Yep.
It's
I love it.
It's the same. I mean, it's the same stuff.
I like that perspective.
It's the same stuff. Every gym you go to, I mean, there is high level coaches.
Sure.
There's good coaches that just don't have fighters up at that level yet.
Right.
But then, if you just literally like you can get better at fighting by watching YouTube now.
Of course. Yeah.
There's everything on YouTube. Like I had this guy ask me one time. He was like, "Why don't you make videos showing techniques and all that?" I'm like, "Cause there's like way too many videos out there."
Yeah, you could be another one.
Yeah, but like, you know,
I hear what you're saying.
there's a lot of things on the internet right now, and like you can be the best at it if you like decide to.
Sure. Sure.
Like everyone had, but like, yeah, there's a lot of things you can learn on YouTube. Like I learned a bunch of stuff on YouTube.
Absolutely.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, me too. I mean, I remember first starting out when I was learning, I first started out in, well, I wrestled in high school, but then when I went to college and did MMA, it was mainly Jiu-Jitsu. And I definitely learned a lot from looking up, 10th Planet videos. Back then, I think they were really one of the only ones online, but
Yeah.
it wasn't Eddie Bravo, it was like one of his students, I think I want to say like Alaska or something, putting out all these videos on, remember, anaconda chokes and Darce chokes and these things that, you weren't necessarily learning in the gym, but if you pulled it out in the gym, then your coach would help you refine it or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's even just sparking an idea from online and going and trying to work it into your game can help you grow.
Or just having a good friends around you and good teammates
Right.
that not really like that they'll just be down to work with you and all that. It's good. Like 'cause sometimes like as fighters we'll just be walking around in the street and someone sees something on Instagram and be like, dude, you saw that? And then they'll be like, yeah, let's try it.
Yeah. I love that.
I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. And like, we look like a bunch of crazy guys we do. We look like a bunch of crazy guys, but like, you just gotta get to that point where like, shit, who cares?
Right.
I mean, if there's a homeless guy walking out, like nobody cares. Nobody cares if you throw 1-2 high kicks something.
Yeah.
I mean, and this will make you. That will make you deal better with the pressure outside walking to that ring and all that, because, like it was hard for me to deal with it, like especially with like when you get a lot of shit coming at you on social media, kind of like mental draining. Like I'm bad at it because sometimes like I reply to people with the bad with the same energy. Like
you let them get to you.
Yeah, I let people sometimes get in my head and I'm like, dude.
Can't waste your mental energy with that. I mean, think about Colby Covington, the amount of hate that dude must get online, and like that's a lot of pressure. He puts that pressure on himself by creating that persona.
Yeah, he's a good fighter.
Very good, but still, it's a lot of pressure when you talk that much shit.
Yeah, his cardio is great, man, and he talks a lot of but everyone is just trying to make it. Like you think all these fighters, if you take their social media, if you just take social, like let's say tomorrow Instagram is not a big thing anymore.
Right.
Nobody will care. Like all these fighters will just be like, yeah, let's fight, man.
Yeah, agreed.
Like they're all just trying to make it somehow. Like we're like that's what like everyone like since Conor McGregor came up with this like trash talking, which it works. And even though like it's bad from the promotion, but like it's good for like the fights and all that, but like the promoters now like that.
Yeah. Well, it helps them get more money.
Yeah.
More ticket sales.
They like that.
More eyes on it.
They'll put you in even if you don't know how to fight. If you talk shit, like people want to see you get knocked out. They'll come watch. They'll still come watch you fight. I remember like when I started fighting, nobody wanted like in here and see. I was just talking shit. I'm like, shit, if these guys don't want to see me win, they're going to come and see me, like, lose.
Yeah,
so
Floyd Mayweather's big on that, right? He doesn't care if you're there to see him win or lose as long as you tune in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, bad or good comments, they're still comments.
Right. Exactly.
It's still putting out there, like, you're still in people's head.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So the goal now is to be a world champion, and you're working towards that. So if you had to give a tip to someone that was young and coming up and aspiring, younger than 21 because you're still a young man, but someone at the beginning of their martial arts journey or career, but thinks that they want to be a fighter, a pro fighter, what would your tip be for them?
I'll just tell them to stick with the basics and
keep it simple.
Focus on training, and staying away from distractions. Like we live in a world full of distractions. Like it's crazy how easy we can get distracted, and sometimes like it can really throw you off your goals, and that's like I think staying focused is the hardest thing to do to get after your goals, and that's something that like I mean you can have good mentors that helps you with that, or good coaches, friends, parents, family, but then eventually you just gotta have to build it on your own.
That's discipline.
Yeah, because like no one is gonna get in your head and tell you what to do.
Right.
Like you just gotta build this thing in your head, and like every time you get off the line, you get back
on. That's great. That's good.
Because I mean I'm still young and all this. Like I'm not gonna waste my 20s, but you know, I still have fun and do all the other stuff that all the other 20 years old kids do. And yeah, it's like you guys don't think about it like you're sacrificing something or you're really sacrificing nothing. Most of these people like you just put like toxic stuff in your body. It's not really worth it, but once in a while it's not that bad after a win or a knockout.
Yeah, well, finding that balance, right? I mean, that balance in life.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's
That's what keeps you able to keep going.
yeah. It's the same thing in life. You just can't just go into the job, coming in, eating and sleeping.
Yeah, that's right.
That's like the work. I mean, not there's some people having fun making money. Like it's good to make money. I don't know, but like achieving a goal is better.
Absolutely, at level 2 happiness.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So how can people follow you online and follow your career?
You guys can follow the Moroccan Maniac on Instagram,
Moroccan Maniac.
and I don't even know what's my Twitter. I just created.
No
it.
one goes on Twitter anyway.
Yeah, and Facebook, the same thing. Houssam El Kasri, and Snapchat. I don't even use it that much.
I don't even know what Snapshot is. Damn, am I getting old?
Man, dude, you guys see my little brother. He's on everything. TikTok, everything.
All right, good to know. Good to know. I'll check it out. Cool. And follow us on Instagram at PrizeFightBiz and subscribe to the Prize Fighting Business on YouTube.
Thank you
Awesome
guys.
stuff. Thank you
Appreciate
very
it,
much.
man.
Appreciate you.
That was great.